We are live! Welcome to the Uncle Jimmy Cousin Donnie Show, sponsored by the Beacon Tap, Signature Transportation Group, and Mom and Dad Water. What's up, Cousin Donnie, man? How's everything been, dude? I feel like it's been for years since we've seen each other.
I know, it's great, actually. No, we actually saw each other last week at Paisans for a little secret get together.
Oh, for a little thing, huh?
A little pizza, a little chat. No, things are great. Things are really good. Just playing fall ball with a couple different teams. Played 12-inch tonight, which is a riot. I know you're playing in Berwyn, couple, a night a week, and everything's been really good. How are things on your end?
The Berwyn League has been actually pretty good to start.
It's a good league.
We've played 4 games. Things have been, going just the way it should be, right? Having fun. That's what fall ball's about. Getting out there, playing with different guys, hanging out with different guys. And it's cool to play with a lot of the similar guys that we play with over my past as well. So,
right. I noticed that
Scotty Toothpick last night.
Scotty Toothpick. I noticed that in fall ball, you play with a lot of guys you play against a lot. Like, I'm on a team in Des Plaines where I play with some 45s guys. A couple of the Hex guys, we get a cool chance to play together on that team. So I enjoy that. I enjoy playing with some different familiar faces. So, but yeah, great night tonight on the show.
I want a surprise for you. I have a surprise for you for tonight.
I'm listening.
So ESPN is going to be doing a radio show at Papa Magoo's.
No way.
And so Cousin Donnie and Uncle Jimmy are going to get a couple minutes on ESPN radio.
Oh, no way.
Yep, the first Monday in October, my man.
Are you serious?
I wouldn't lie to you.
You would? So it's October 6th.
First Monday in October.
That's awesome.
So Sylvie will be there from 7 to 9. He does the night show too. So they'll be out there. They're picked 8 bars in Chicago. I was one of the bars they picked in my territory, which was awesome. And
that's excellent.
It's going to be a pretty cool night. So,
well, that's great. Congrats on being part of that, and that's really cool news. I'm stoked about it. So we're going to be on ESPN Radio. Uncle Jimmy, Cousin Donnie, going places.
Yeah, we're going places.
Right.
So, but
that's great,
I feel like since softball at nationals has ended, for the major level, I felt like everyone goes in that 2-week hiding phase, and then fall ball starts back up, and then we had the 50 and over major nationals, which obviously 2 of our guests tonight are the MVPs from the tournament, both Denny, Lawlor, and Angelo. I think that it's going to be an interesting night tonight, Donnie. You know why? Because I think both of these guys are not, obviously they're veterans of the game, right? But they also have a lot of knowledge about softball. Yeah. Denny being one of them. I think Denny was one of the main people who actually started the SSA, or was a part of the beginning part. And then Angelo, he's been up around the game. He played with the Chucks, I believe, or out in Iowa. He played on some Iowa teams when he moved to Iowa. He's been on a lot of the big teams. He's won major nationals.
He did with Signature.
Yep. He won MVP of major nationals. Now he won an MVP of the 50 and over. So it's been I think it's going to be a really cool show. What do you think?
I'm pumped about it. 2 guys that I respect a lot in the game, and 2 people that have been around since I've started playing. And Angelo was on Signature, and then left before I got there. But I always talk to him about hitting because he's left-handed. He talked to my guy Mark Manizzi when he started, and Mark's giving me some of the knowledge. So great guy in Angelo, Alesia, and then Denny's a class act, and I talk to him every time we get the chance to play against him. So Really
Right.
quick before we get into the interview, Jim, I want to give a shout out to our guy Aaron Hauser, who plays for Hall of Fame out in Iowa. He's pretty proud of his new brand, so I'm going to put the link to his shop, his new page, in our chat now.
Nice.
He's starting his own little clothing brand, and Jim,
So
you're going to love this. You
he
can't
sends
get
you one, doesn't send
juicy.
Uncle?
He actually gave this to me in person at Major Nationals because I asked him for it. So this isn't
Oh.
anything against you. It says you can't get juicy without the juice. If you can believe that. And there's a cool logo on the back. But
Well, that's
I
cool.
put his store in our chat for anybody that wants to support Aaron. But I think it's a lot of the weightlifting stuff that he's into. But there's all kinds of cool gear on there. So if you want to
Does
get on that, that's in the chat now.
so does Aaron? Is he gonna come out with a clothing line for us?
Yeah, for guys that aren't bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Sure, I think fit one size fits all.
I mean, the hair gel that goes in our hair is incredible.
Yeah,
Not many guys
it's a
can.
good point.
You know.
Good point. Great hair here.
So.
Well, yeah, let's hop into. If you don't have anything else, let's hop into these two guys and have a chat with them.
Yeah, let's get into the conversation with them. I feel that both of these guys are gonna have some cool knowledge. I'm gonna get them on the show. Let's bring in Angelo first. There's Angelo. Welcome to the show, Angelo. And then let's get quick. There's Denny. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Uncle Jimmy, Cousin Donnie show. We are stoked to have both of you guys on tonight. I think it's an incredible way to kind of just look back at the past from when you guys started, with some of the newer followers that we have in the game today. Also talk a little bit about the 50 and over. And both of you guys, I believe, are first timers on the show. So welcome. So
That's true.
We're going to start with the first question we always ask. Tell us a little bit about yourself. We'll start with you, Denny. Tell us about how you got started in softball. Tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll throw it over to Angelo.
Well, 5'10", I'm a Virgo, like to party, have a good time. Anybody interested? No, I'm kidding. Basically, I think like most guys, when your baseball career ends, you find 16 in softball, and I thought it was playing for some neighborhood tavern against some other neighborhood taverns until I got introduced to the major tournaments, the major level, the A Nationals, things like that. Became a passion. Obviously, you want to try to be as successful in softball as you may have been in baseball, and you became a lifer. So it started at about 22 years old at Rainey Park. Guys I played ball with picked up the phone, said, "Your baseball career over?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "You want to play some softball?" There it was. 2 years later, Tommy Balick and Brian Collins found me in the parks, brought me to the major level, and been there ever since 1994. So.
Nice. Angelo, what about you? How'd you get started?
Strangely enough, my brother's father-in-law was playing in Addison. I grew up in Addison, and they needed a guy, and I had never played before. I mean, outside of picnics and stuff. And so I went to play with these guys, and I was 19, and that was a long time ago. These guys were like in their 50s and 60s, and they were playing a men's league, and I just started playing with them, going out there every week. And, when you're hanging around the park and other teams are playing in other leagues, people start to look around, and I was just a little fast lefty guy. And
Still are.
I try. There's a little more pain involved now. But some other guys from Villa Park saw me, and the rest is history. It just blossomed from there.
Wow.
And were the Blues your first team up?
They were the second team, really. I played with Richie Del Giudis's team. What the heck were we called? One year we played some major tournaments. We played Forest Park, but then after that, it was the Blues for the several years.
That's great. The background there is awesome, and just kind of how you both got into it is so different. Denny, my first question's for you. A lot of guys know this already. It didn't come up in your intro. I think you're 5'11", by the way, on a good day, not 5'10". You get a chance to play with your brother quite a bit. So can you talk about getting a chance to play with Shane and still playing with him to this day on Flash? Still being a big part of that team. Can you talk about what that's been for you? As growing through softball.
Yeah, I guess with some irony, the way to describe it best would have been when I left. When I left Jinx, I remember me and my brother sitting in the bar after hours, in the Lawlor's Bar in Archer, and telling him, I said, I think I'm leaving. I said, I've given 9 or 10 of my seasons here and nothing's changing. I didn't like the way things were trending. I was trying to recruit guys, but then they were leaving, and because they thought I had power of the pen and I didn't, and whatever. It just didn't. Things were starting to get stale, and the hardest thing I ever had to do was tell my brother I was going to leave to go play with somebody else. And so it was gone 3 years, and then we had a tragedy happen with one of our friends passing away. You start thinking life's too short. You don't want to be away from your friends, your brother. Softball, as much as it can kind of take a business-like feel when you're banging away trying to chase down major championships and you're falling short. I don't know. I don't know if I made a good move or a bad move, but eventually it was 3 years away. The 3 years I went to Flash. After 4 years of being back with the Jinx crew that we put back together, it did all kind of implode again. And this time my brother came with me. We went back to Flash, and 15 years later, that's where we still are together. But it's to touch upon we all have a kinship and a brotherhood in the game, right? There's this game is very fraternal, but when it's your actual blood, I can't really put into words how proud you can feel of your sibling succeeding, watching him do what he's done all these years, and not to mention all the errors he saved me at first base. So.
Jamie, go ahead.
Yeah. So Angelo, I'll start with you on this question. Let's get into the 50 and over weekend. We've have a lot of players that played in the 50 and over this weekend hopping, watching the show right now. We have a ton of people jumping on. Just for say, our boy Joey Carbs, welcome. Matt Mackey, welcome. Sheik, welcome. Vern, our guy Vern from Garfield Ridge, welcome. Scott Erdecki, Anthony Raff, TJ Wilkins, Joe Nixon, Mark Benizzi. He says 2 legends here, Tony DeVito, Johnny Eck, our boy Ram. So I want to start with you guys. Tell us about the weekend. Tell us about, I believe you guys walked through the winner's bracket clean, lost the first game of the championship, and then won the if game. So, Angelo, start with you. Who stood out this weekend? Because I think you guys played 6 games, if I'm correct.
Yeah, we played 5.
Okay.
1 Friday, 4 Saturday.
Okay.
But like Matty Dozen's team played 6 on Saturday. They need to change the name of the tournament to 50 and over Survivor.
Right.
Because, guys were going down like flies. I had it easy. I EH'd 1 game, caught the rest, and so all I had to do was hit and run.
Right.
The guys who played the field, my God, it's high 80s and just, Nicky Marchese, Larry Downs, Raff was out in the outfield. When guys go down, it's just a crazy tournament. And
right.
Denny wanted to fight somebody from Matty's team when he hit his brother on the way to first base. And not
I don't believe that. Not Denny.
If you survive the tournament, the playing of it, the ball busting in the dugout, I didn't want to make an out because I didn't want to hear it from any of those guys. So it's a lot of fun. And like Denny said, softball is a brotherhood. I mean, we've been playing together against these guys. I mean, this is my 44th year, and I know all these guys. And
Right.
I told them at the end, I said, I've won national titles. I've won this, I won that, leagues. But this one meant a lot for some reason. I can't put my finger on it, maybe because I'm 64, but it meant a lot to do it with these guys because, I mean, I wasn't a Flash guy, but just these guys are real. We're pretty close, and we all get along, and it made it that more special.
So before I get to you, Donnie, and really quick, we were busting balls on our team chat with the 45s about Izzy and Larry because they put the Flash shirt on and all that stuff. And I know we all get along, but we have to bust balls, right? So I have to ask, how was Izzy playing and how was Larry? How did they do this weekend? Is there anything I could say to bust their balls?
No, they were great. I wish I had something for you. I don't.
All right.
That's great.
All right. Then our boy Larry and Izzy, they'll slide on this one, but I'm still going to give them shit. So, but Denny, over to you. Who stood out this weekend for you guys? Obviously, you guys were both the MVPs. Congrats on that. But who was somebody maybe that stood out to you that you're like, man, that guy's still pretty good at 50-something years old?
I don't know that you could. It's hard to narrow that down because so many people stood out in so many ways. Like Ange said about the courtesy runner rule. I mean, you're getting down to it where more than half of your lineup is unable to run, and it's you're not only talking about people playing hurt, but like people playing actually injured. Like Raph had to finish the game in right field for us, I think 3 innings, and he has this hip issue that almost leaves him incapable of walking. Larry played every inning of every game, and it turned out afterwards he found out he had multiple tears, partial tears in his hamstring. On our Wednesday night team up in Glenview, he had to send a text on Tuesday before our playoff game that he's done for the year. That type of you just don't find that type of warrior mentality everywhere in life. No. I certainly feel like it was very prevalent in our game in our prime. I still see some of it in today's game. It's just it seems like there's a lot less people playing the game today. And, we all know some of the issues with attendance and, everything else that every team seems to go through. So, I don't think it can be an apples to apples comparison, but I don't want to slight one generation versus the next. If I may say, though, the coolest thing about this weekend was it was almost like being able to jump into a time machine. It isn't that we can do what we once did at the same level that we once did, but to stand in the on-deck circle, our mechanics still remain the same, right? So to stand in the on-deck circle and watch Keith Filkins load up as he's approaching the swing to drive that left center gap that I've watched him hit 7 million times, it feels like. It just takes you back in time, to be there and watch Angelo. I don't know if this was Stat Trek, but I think Angelo got his 9 millionth hit over the weekend. And, it is a pure art form of him you couldn't pick up and throw the ball from home plate any better than where Angelo places it off the bat.
Yeah.
You can squeeze him, you can shift him, you can do whatever. He's going to hit it where you ain't. And it's the most frustrating thing because the rest of us are all trying to kill the ball. And this guy just slices and dices it right past you. And it's an art form that is, I don't know how you could teach anyone that, but to watch guys, watch Jibbs take the mound out there and battle like it was 2007 again. Watch Hoops is out there playing third base all weekend. With the man had a new hip put in like 18 months ago. I mean, not even.
Yep.
He's out there with a fake hip. And he made a joke, about, oh yeah, he came in and ran for me one time. Yeah, the guy with the fake hip. I'm like, well, we got to use it while it's still under warranty, Dan. We got to make sure it's going to work for you. So yeah, the jokes and the ball busting is, that obviously we never lose we're always in our prime when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah,
but
we know that.
Just watching the guys, and I will say, like Sammy Bertucci, a monster out there at shortstop for us. Eric Madsen came and, was late addition. We had Petey Raines unable to make it. Scotty Hordecki got hurt before the tournament started. So before the tournament even started, we were down a handful of guys. Right. And some guys stepped up, played big. I don't know what Joey Rump showed up sometime on Sunday. I don't know what he drove there. I'm pretty sure it was a white horse because he looked like the cavalry when he showed up and was able to come in and play for us because we were losing guys left and right. There might have been a white horse in the parking lot for all I know. I don't know. But it worked.
Hey,
it worked.
And that's all that matters, right? You guys had a blast. Yeah. It sounds like 9 teams this year, which I think it's getting more and more, which is awesome to see as well. So that's a cool thing. You brought up a good point, though, and it kind of transitions me right into my next question, then I'll kick it over to Donnie. You mentioned about the game that was when you started compared to what it is today. And we're not knocking either generation. That's not what we're about. But I want to know what you see, and just go back to you, Angelo, and then I'll kick it back to you, Denny. What is the difference you feel? We talk about commitment. I get it. But what is the difference between when you played or when you first started compared to what it is now, just on a talent basis, but also just the game as a whole? Like, give us some examples or just whatever comes to your mind and comparing when you started to what it is today.
Well, the main things are the talent back then. And I know there's nice talent now, but you didn't have a night off when we played. Yeah. If you didn't come ready to play, you got beat. And I mean, the first year the Blues were in Mount Prospect, we were 2-24. The second year we were 24-2. I mean, there were just no nights off and nobody missed. I know we knock this commitment thing all the time.
Yeah.
And believe me, it pains me to see it because I'm still playing and I see it every week.
Right.
And guys didn't move so much back then. You were on your team for years. There was no picking and plucking and you going somewhere else. So, teams got to know each other and each other's weaknesses and each other's strengths. And you just had to show up every time. And, you win a tournament on Sunday. We were in Mount Prospect Monday. There was no, we're shorthanded. We're not going to come tonight.
Yeah.
You had to play. And the leagues were probably more prevalent than the tournaments, with the exception of Forest Park and the Nationals. It was the leagues that made your team, that made you as a player. That I don't know if everyone has seen that plaque out at Mount Prospect, the big sign with all the players on there. I mean, those were warriors. I mean, that's just how it was. I mean, it didn't matter where you went, you had a tough game, and we didn't miss. We just never missed, and we did the right things. There's a lot of bad softball right now.
Yeah,
if you did the bad thing, you were on the bench, and that won't happen today because a guy will quit or get mad or explain why he hit it to third with first and second. So, we just fundamentally, talent-wise, and it was just really good softball. It was tough.
Yeah. Very good. No, very good. Donnie, what's your follow-up to that?
I would like to piggyback on a lot of what Angelo said there by saying, I think there is a domino effect to it. I agree 1,000,000% with everything Ange said. But when you look at the cause and effect element to it all, right? I believe the golden era of the game was I came in and caught some of the tail end of it. Angelo played in some of it. And, but I also realized that I think you're talking about the baby boom era. You know, there was just more people alive and more people playing per capita in our area. Then, you know, with that, you know, with when you have that type of competition to make it on rosters or to make a starting lineup, it's going to breed better play. You know, there's constant competition within each other. As I watch the game start to suffer a bit, or the difference in it between then and now, you know, you look at the participation. I mean, you know, just in the neighborhoods, you know, which, you know, say the neighborhood I live in, you know, there were leagues, multiple leagues on same nights of the week. You know, you can't, there ain't one men's league anymore except Normandy Park, which is a one diamond little park in the, you know, Jimmy knows where it is, but it's, you know, we have some big, beautiful parks around us, and there is no 16-inch softball being played. Right. So when you lose that feeder system, it's going to be affected at the top level. And another thing, I think, coming back to the league stuff, and Andrew referring to the classic league at Mount Prospect, and, you know, the pro league when it was on TV, that stuff mattered. That's all part of the journey. It was the season was a journey. The season wasn't measured by, you know, Forest Park and Nationals. You know, you could have success without winning either one of those tournaments. But, you know, obviously those were the goals, but, you know, the season was a journey, and you just couldn't wait to show up to the park to be with your guys. You know, you just, I couldn't wait to get to the park on Tuesday or Wednesday to see, you know, you're supposed to be on the team because you enjoy the company you're keeping with them. And, oh, by the way, we're going to go have a little bit of exercise, you know, with some competition, and then followed up with some 12-ounce curls, you know, till everyone's got to go home. And then you couldn't wait to do it again the next day. Right. And now I believe, and I've said this going back a ways, some of the youth, you know, now you see young talent come up and people are on them like hawks. You know, when we were younger, you didn't get picked up by the bigger teams till you accomplished something maybe on a lower level team. Now people are taking guys, and they're almost been like given contracts, taking a gamble on them. You know, you're grabbing a young dynamic talent, hoping you can cultivate him into a monster major player. And it's because the talent pool is so diminished. Yeah. And I do believe part of the attendance issues now are we are starting to become the byproduct of travel ball. You know, our generation, you grew up, you played in your little league, you played your 2 house games a week, you know, you played for a championship in your league, you made your travel teams, and that's when you went and played in tournaments. Well, now, you know, guys, they don't know what it's like to play in a regular season league. They join a travel ball team and they play in 6 tournaments on 6 different weekends over the summer. Right. If you have a bad weekend one weekend, well, that's okay. We got another tournament next weekend. Yeah. You know, and I think we're starting to see some of that mindset enter into our game.
So there's a good question. Before I get over to you, Donnie, there with your comment. Yeah. Matt Dozen says, guys never miss for the fear of losing their starting spot. That's not so.
Agreed.
So that's a good comment there. We had another good comment here by Greg. He says, Mount Prospect used to be a privilege to play for Iowa teams, which I know, Angelo, you mentioned the Mount Prospect League and some of those things. And then we had a funny comment come in here, except Denny doesn't know how to go home after the games.
And then Moji said, ain't that the truth?
Moji says, ain't that the truth?
They can't talk about you if you're still there. You know, you got to stick around to make sure.
I know there's been many nights we sat at Lawlor till 6 a.m, Denny, back in the day. So
yeah, Jimmy, you've been shoulder to shoulder with me plenty of time for that.
Yeah, for sure. Donnie, go ahead with your next question.
Yeah. So I have I get the opportunity to play for Signature now and have been on the team for a few years. I got to ask you guys, because I know you've played against him, but this weekend had some success hitting off Sal Milazzo, who would have yelled at me for some of the things that maybe I had seen, but you know, that's neither here nor there. Angelo, go first. What was it like hitting it off Sal, who you actually played with on Signature when you won Major Nationals?
So, since we're friends, I'll have to be discreet. But it's always a pleasure to hit off Sal. just because
Sure.
I like him so much. But
Great. Yeah.
it was 1-1 count, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna say of my 6,000 walks, Sal has contributed to a lot of them, and so
According to him, though, he's never walked
yeah,
anybody.
he can't ever throw a first strike to me ever.
He sounds like Izzy. He never walked anyone.
Yeah.
And Pat Caputo, none of them
Yeah.
have walked anybody. Yeah,
Anybody.
yeah.
And then they get mad.
Remember, everybody,
Huh?
every player our age, as we're preaching to the younger generation, we all batted 1,000, never made an error, and a pitcher never walked anybody. So,
But you know what? I gave Sal a lot of credit because he played a ton of games, and he doesn't play a whole bunch. I mean, but the one take from Sal I did see was he hit a ball to left center in the gap, and the whole park went crazy. But it was like I said, it's just. I mean, Maddie's team had guys going down left and right as well, and he had 20 guys. So, I mean, thank God he had pitching depth, and we had pitching depth, but yeah, I do like hitting off Sal. Yeah.
So wait a minute, Angelo. You mean to tell me that Sal didn't pitch hit for the pitcher? Because I know on signature now the pitchers don't get the hit. So
they did hit for him, and they did not hit for him. So it was sometimes
situational.
when you get down to the bottom of the barrel, it's 6-1, half a dozen to the other. Just let somebody hit who can run.
All right.
That's situational, of course, right? Let me, Denny, go ahead. What do you got from some success you had hitting off my guy Sal this weekend?
Oh, I don't think I've ever got a hit off him. I think he owns me. He's the best.
Excellent answer. Thank you for that.
No, I mean, in fairness, that if I can take that and run it into parlay it into, it's slow pitch softball, right? I mean, I think for the most part, all of us who think we're pretty good hitters feel like we're the only ones who get ourselves out. The best thing a pitcher can do is try to maybe position his defense and then pitch conducive to the defensive alignment he set up. But the best hitters are going to go, if you're playing me to pull and I want to go down the left field line, then I'm going to change my steps. You're pitching me inside and I'm still going to go left field line when I'm on. I mean, obviously I'm not, I don't mean, I think all of us, I don't think you can get, Randy Key, I could go on and on and on, when you're in a good groove, it's slow pitch softball and there ain't anything a pitcher's going to do to get you out. But Sal has always been very cerebral. He's always been, he does. He's very, let's try this. Let's try that. Let's play him on this side. I'm going to try to pitch him there. He's very energetic about his approach. He took it serious. He takes pitching serious and he was very effective. Sal has had an effective career. No doubt. He's been a tough pitcher in my opinion over the years.
Yeah, he's great. He's a great guy that, I can rely on for a lot of stuff with signature, and him and I have great conversations. The next thing I want to get into, Angelo, I had a question for you. You won major nationals, pretty recently. I think it was 2018, if I'm not mistaken. You won major nationals?
5 years ago.
So 2020, so 2020-ish, 2019?
Yeah.
And you guys beat 45s in the championship game, and I heard from Mark Manizzi told me that you made your first out in the championship game of the entire tournament on a sac fly. Is that accurate?
I swear I made out before that, but I play in the moment. I don't.
Sure.
But I don't remember. Okay, so there's guys that know what they did 7 years ago. I was 3 for 4, and I don't know any of that, but I remember that out, and I think we got like 9 hits in a row. Well, probably less than that, but I mean, and Steve Batnick was pitching, and I figured he was beat up. Guys were pounding the ball in the first inning, and I said, he always throws me a first strike, and then he's magic. He works you all over the place. And I said, so I'm going to hit the first pitch. I'm still pissed to this day because I never hit the first pitch ever. And it was deep and inside, and it was actually a foul ball. It was a sac fly, but I was just pissed I didn't get in on the hit parade in that first inning. I mean, that's what sticks in my head. I made an out.
Sure. And you won the MVP, so who cares?
Yeah, I guess.
It's funny you say that. We talked to Big Mick Balestri last week, and he could tell you every pitch of every inning from a game 220 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a human encyclopedia, and it's actually incredible to watch him go through games in his head and his memory. But it's unreal. I mean,
there's a lot of guys
great.
like that. There's a lot of guys like that. I can't remember Monday of this week.
Yeah. Donnie and I had pizza with Mickey on Sunday night. We were.
Well, then you guys paid.
Jimmy paid.
Of course we paid.
Well, actually, the show paid.
Yeah, the show paid. We were talking about our tournament for next year, and that we're going to be running on the 26th and 27th of June. And Donnie and I heard all about the 80s of 16 and so.
And the 70s and the 60s and the 50s.
Yeah. A lot of good information. I walked out with about a notebook full of notes. So.
Yeah. Jimmy, go ahead with your next question.
You know what? My next question, guys, really kind of stems into the love of the game, right? You know, you started when you guys were 19, 20 years old in the parks, and you continue to play well into your 50s and 60s, you know. So tell me, what is that drive? What is the love of why maybe some of the younger guys can look at you two today and say, hey, you know, this is why some of those guys do it, right? What is that one thing other than the competition, right? We always say competitiveness, we want that. But what is the one thing that you love about this game that strives you to still play well into your 50s? Go ahead, Donnie. I'll start with you.
Go ahead, Ange. You're a better leadoff man than I am. Go ahead, Ange.
There you go,
Well, I was going to wait for you because I'm not in my 50s anymore.
You're in your 60s. I get you.
Yeah. You know, I don't know, Jimmy, if it's just one thing because, you know, I've tried to retire 5 times and everybody tells me, they remind me of that every time they see me. But I don't know. It's something about this game. I don't know if it's the guys like yourselves. I love starting the next year, whether it's a new team, a young team, the 50 and over team. I just can't wait to be with the guys and to compete.
Yeah.
And as long as I keep doing what I do, I feel like I still belong in the game.
Yeah.
And when the guys pass me up, and I mean, you know, when everybody passes me up, then I'll be done. But, you know, there's some nights when I get in the car and my wife will attest to it. She'll hate the ride home if I'm 1 for 4, 0 for 3, whatever. She'll hate that ride home. And I just, you know, then the next night you just suck it up and you know, get 4 hits, win a ball game, and okay, I could still do this.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a mental thing that, you know, because we're sitting here, we're talking about softball, 16 in softball, where the whole nation doesn't know what the hell we're talking about.
That's right.
We're talking about softball on a Thursday night.
Until our show, you know, we have followers all over the country now. You know that we're getting bigger, Angelo. Come on,
we're gonna be on ESPN.
Well, it's my first time. You know, it's the first time you asked me, so you know.
Yeah. I hear
you got to win MVP for that.
I guess.
But you know, Angelo, I've seen you a couple times. I know you mentioned hanging out with the guys. You also like to bet the ponies, right?
Ooh.
So I've been talking to Mastari a lot lately. He's got me betting these damn horses.
Yeah.
We're talking about making a trip to Del Mar, so maybe you might get an invite to go to Del Mar with us.
I'm in.
I knew that was coming.
I mean, I just came back from Springfield because I own harness horses.
Yeah.
So we had one race today, and it's great. We love it. We love it.
Yep. I know, because when I was before I get to you, Donnie, when I was over at the Bolingbrook location, and I was looking, we were trying to get the OTB by me, and then I got declined with the location of where we
Oh,
put
yeah.
it, where we put it, because they had one within a certain distance or whatever it was. Hawthorne Racetrack came out and saw me, and I remember I saw you over in Bolingbrook because they were closing that one up. It's just unfortunate that it didn't work out, but I'm still on the list. So God forbid, if anything ever happens, I'm hopefully the next in line to get an OTB. So
That's great.
you'll be the first guy I call.
I'll be there. That'll be the closest one to me.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So Denny, real quick, obviously get back to the question. Love of the game, from when you started to today, what still gives you that drive to continue to play?
It's pretty easy for me. It's the love of the teammates. I think it's a combination of two things. One, I still love our Flash team. I believe that we help cultivate a culture of how a team is supposed to conduct itself and carry itself. And so we're kind of proud of the brand. And so that's one thing. And then from the selfish standpoint, I don't remember what life was like without being a major softball player. I might not even like what I look at in the mirror if I wasn't a major softball player. I don't know how to live without being able to say you're on a team. I don't know. I'm not sure I don't know if I'd like myself if I was. I don't know how to live without it, So I think that's might be what keeps me coming back as well. So
good answer. Go ahead, Donnie.
Yeah, those are great. That's a great answer, right? You don't even know what life is like without playing ball. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
And especially, who you get to play with all the time, and that's a great group of guys. It might look a little different though this year potentially with some stuff moving around. What kind of insider information can you give us about the Flash team or some of the potential moves that they got coming for next year? They keep you involved in that stuff?
No. It's there's a lot of trust and respect in with Jibbers and Bobby at the helm, and I think my brother has had his fingerprints on a lot of the stuff that's happened, and not to take it down a personal direction, but there's just some things that are going on my personal side of life that don't kind of allow me that type of time, and can't really commit to that. Just there's life keeps coming at you, man. You don't always get to do what you enjoy. You got to squeeze it in sometimes. And I've been kicked in the what's plenty of times by this game of life, but you know what? You take it and you keep fighting back.
Sure.
What are you going to do?
For
yeah,
sure.
Jimmy, I was looking for some rumor mill there, but he didn't give me anything. So we'll have to just make some stuff up for the next time.
I've got some good rumor mill on the Flash team tonight.
That's good. I'm glad you do. The last question I've got for both of you, Denny, I'll start with you. I want to talk about just being proud of a certain moment in your career. Can you just kind of talk about a one time that you were like, man, it's finally, besides winning 50 and over MVP, man, I really enjoy the work that I've kind of put into this game, and here's kind of where it's brought me.
I don't really have anything that stands out between the lines, and honestly, the thing I'm most proud of, and I don't mean to take this down another direction, but was what we did with the SSA. I mean, when we started that, I felt like that was the stamp that when it's all said and done, the championships, the wins, the losses, they're just going to end up numbers on a scoreboard, and maybe they're moments that Mickey can recite and some other people can recite verbatim, but it won't be me. What I remember about it is it ain't so much of what you won, but who you won it with. What was that journey like? What the memories of that are what I take with me. But the proudest thing I can say I was when we started the SSA, because I believed we began something that was going to be forever, that was going to change the game for the better. and that would long outlast me.
Right.
Or any memories of me. So if it was the SSA, that's the governing body when my kids are playing, or my grandchildren someday, or nieces or nephews or whatever, that's what I would have, that would have been the mark I was most proud of about leaving in the game. Now I know there's some things that have changed with that, and some things that may be able to be done better. And, but I'm not, that would have to be another topic on another show. I don't want to take away from what this show is supposed to be about.
That's a great answer, though. That's great. That's something that's going to last a lot longer than what you believe to be the playing career. So that's a really good answer. Angelo, kick it over to you. Just talk about maybe, one moment that oh, go ahead, Jim.
Really quick, I just want to add to Denny. He also got to hang out with Gio. So I know that's what we were going at, right? Donnie, I had to bring it up. So you get to hang out with Gio. So don't worry.
I was able to pull it off without any cease and desist orders. I don't know what your problem is.
Yeah, but hey, things happen. What can I say? But I just wanted to bring that up. I thought it'd be a good laugh. So, hey,
Angelo,
Gio and I
go
got
ahead.
along for the home run derby, just so you know. For the
Yeah.
show.
Actually, true. You guys did seem to communicate a few sentences, which was more than I expected.
Go ahead, Angelo.
My career of 44 years has so much in it, but just one thing that really stands out is receiving the Terry Moran Award.
Oh, cool.
Which means you respected the game, you respected your teammates, you respected your opponents, you were an ambassador for softball, and I just, when I leave the game, I just, if I ever leave the game, I'm proud that I wasn't a jerk. I think I wasn't. I don't know what people say behind my back, but I try not to get in arguments. I try not to belittle people. It's all in jest, and it's just about respecting this game. You can't play thousands upon thousands of games and be an idiot. I mean, it just, there's no satisfaction in that. So when I got that award, I was pretty proud of what my stamp is on the game.
Very cool.
That's excellent. Very unique answer right there. Not a lot of people have received that award. That's wonderful. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, Terry Moran, that tournament, I still make time to play in that tournament every year. I remember when I first started playing softball, that tournament was kind of always a big deal on the north side, and it was something for us on the south side guys to go to the north. It was just one of those things competition-wise. And to this day, I still go out and play there. It's and his son is doing a great job of trying to bring that back, which I think is a really cool thing to see as well. So that leads me to my last question for you guys. And then obviously we turn the floor over to you guys for questions for us. But my last question is the question I ask every guest that comes on the show, and that is really about the game of softball. So if you can basically change one thing or bring something new to the game to make it better today, what would that be? And Angelo, I'll start with you.
So the only, I don't like where the game is going in regards to new players coming into the game, because it's like Denny said earlier, you find a good guy, you poach him, it takes him away from his team, and then if he's an A player and he doesn't want to mess with his status of Papa Hops, he's not going to come play major. And so I'd like to see like some sort of declassification where you're telling guys that they can't play softball. It doesn't make sense to me. If a guy's coming from a park and he's going to play in a major game to fill the team that could possibly forfeit or move the game, or let the guy play. I just think you can't stop people from playing. They're just going to get a sour taste of what major softball is. And I'm just really speaking about major softball.
Right.
You can't keep guys from playing. So there should be something that they can do to allow these guys to come and play. And who knows, man, maybe if they like the major scene, they're gonna play it, but don't penalize them for going up for a Tuesday or going up for one weekend, and now they can't play the tournaments they really like to play in. We're trying to make it enjoyable for everyone to play the game. So that's the only thing I can think of about that.
So what you're getting at would be like almost like a major list, kind of like what they do in 12-inch. They list the players, not the teams, but the players. And if you're on that major list, technically you're a major player. To your point, it would allow guys in Kennedy Park, which is one of the more popular leagues on the south side, if they wanted to go play in a major tournament or a major team for a weekend or fill in or whatever it may be, they wouldn't be disqualified to play in Papa Hops or count as a major player because they're not on the major list.
Correct.
I agree with you. I think that is something that is genius for the sport. I think it's genius for what we do. We all know as major players who the major players are, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious. I can tell you right now who's the major players in the game by looking at certain teams. I mean, and there's, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but there's a lot of guys on major teams that are not players, right? And I mean, think about it. There's a lot of guys that do a lot of great things that are not major players, but they're a huge contributor on a major team. And I just think that, to your point, I think that wouldn't make a huge difference. Now, maybe that's something that Donnie and I, we're talking about wanting to put together like this players union thing, and we're working on this tournament and we want to do a lot of things. But to your point, maybe that's something that we can do as players that will generate a list of major players in the game. And if you're not on the list, technically you're not a major player. So it would, to your point, allow teams and kids to play in those park leagues and other things where there's two major limit doesn't come into play. So, yeah, no, that's a great point. Donnie, what do you think about that before we get over to Denny?
Yeah, we see it all the time. Guys essentially not playing with teams because they don't want to ruin one weekend of the year, essentially giving up their whole season for that. So if there's some sort of way you can make that happen logistically, where guys can go out and play in more tournaments with major teams and still not put their credentials for Papa Hops or different, limitation tournaments, I mean, that could only help the game, right?
Yeah.
Denny, go ahead.
Denny, go ahead. What's your answer?
It would probably be the same. And just to add to it, the couple things, and forgive me, my scatterbrain might not remember it all, but the one thing, Jimmy, when you talked about lists in like a players union, just so you know, that's how the SSA started. We were actually a players union, and it was a committee that we submitted to Bob Ancona and Tom O'Neill at the time. And, when you're bargaining in good faith in the players union and promises were made that were unkept, and that's when we decided to break away. And that ended up being like what was the initial governing body or board of directors for the SSA. Right. To the list thing you talked about, Jimmy, I agree 100%. I can tell you that had been brought up going way back to the 90s, mid 90s, with the Hawthorne tournament. Hawthorne was an A tournament, and that was there was a few years where they let major players in, but what they did was they froze rosters and they would let two majors in. But there were years where there were no majors. It was exclusive A. Then they dabbled with it, and it all comes back to, we need to make the game inclusive and not seclusive. We don't need reasons to chase people away from playing. We need more people playing. And that's why when we started the SSA, we did away with all the qualifiers. We did away with the state tournament. All of that stuff we felt was a pure money grab that chased people away. You did not have teams. There was no way teams from Kennedy Park, who were very capable of playing in the A Nationals, are going to drive to Mount Prospect 3 or 4 times a year, hoping to accumulate enough points to go play in Aberdeen, South Dakota for an A Nationals.
Yeah.
So you needed to take the cost, the burden of cost and travel out of it. in order to make it inclusive. And so I agree with all of that stuff. That's the direction this game needs to go. And in fairness to, I know that a lot of this is directed at the Papa Hops tournament. In fairness, let's remember, they didn't ask for this. When the first year that tournament ran was basically an in-house tournament for the Kennedy Park League. What this has ballooned and blossomed into is beyond wonderful.
Yeah.
But they've also been hit. They don't come from a major softball background.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're doing the best they can to keep things on a level playing field for all involved, to keep some competitive balance, so that people keep coming out,
Mm-hmm.
and they can put out a good product. They're taking advice of a lot of people. Now, if we can put that players union together, or that comes up with some type of list that becomes a universal go-to for them, trust me, I think they would appreciate that. It would make their life a whole lot easier.
Right. So that is something that Donnie and we've been discussing. It's something that I think we're going to try to have a meeting with, whether it be a Zoom call or an in-person meeting with a lot of the players in the game that we feel have an impact to what we're trying to do, right? And so, I tell Donnie this all the time. I'm towards the tail end of my stuff. My kids are going to start playing travel ball, and my commitment's not going to be what it is now. So, to leave the game or to just not have the full commitment, but to know that we've put an impact, to your point earlier, Denny, I think that's a big thing. And then I wanted to get to Jeremy's comment really quick. Jeremy Lafrano says, what does that tell you guys? Would rather play in one tournament than the entire season at the major level. So I'm assuming what Jeremy's trying to say is that, major softball right now is not at a good state, and people would rather play, one tournament, a one-night tournament. And, I've been saying this
a
for
whole
years.
year.
This. They have to change the formats of the tournaments to make it interesting. When you play the same 5 tournaments, the best tournaments in major softball, and all 5 tournaments are the same format, there's no excitement other than, there's cool because Westchester's a cool tournament because it's the first tournament of the year. Everyone's dying to play.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next 2, in my opinion, are not that special. And then even Forest Park this year didn't seem that special in regards to the crowds and what was going on out there, even though Forest Park, we all know, is the Mecca, right? And then Nationals, I thought Nationals was fine, but it's just, it's still, it's a different vibe than what it was 15 years ago when I first started. And I know we were already at the tail end of kind of when the good days were when I first started. So I agree with you guys. And I think it's unfortunate, but we have to do something to try to change it. And if we sit back and just let it die, I think you're going to see less and less teams, and you're going to see no major softball at some point, 3 to 5 years down the road. Look at the way it's going. So,
but Jimmy,
yeah,
how old are you, Jimmy?
I'm 44 now.
44, and you're talking about, and you have kids. A lot of the guys your age have kids, and when you had your kids, you could still play because they were not in anything, and so your career kept going. But now you're 44, your kids are going to start playing. There's no time for softball. Major softball, make your list of guys, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. All these guys are right at that mark. And if they have kids, softball is done. And these are the major players. The guys you name are going to be 39, 40, what have you.
Yep.
That's a problem. That's a big problem.
You're 100% right. And when I look at it, and I know Donnie, and I've been trying to talk with Donnie a lot about what the state of the game is going to be in 5 years, is one of the reasons why we really started this podcast. Unfortunately, we started it drunk at McGaffer's one night, and then blossomed into what we have now, right? A platform for us to kind of speak our minds about the game and really take a lot of the players' advice of what's going on. And I think our first step is next year, outside of the players' union thing, but our first step to action is creating a tournament that we hope we get the support of the major teams. We are going to do a Yuma style brand. We're going to play Friday night pool play and single elimination Saturday. I've got the city of Berwyn, the mayor throwing out the first pitch. I've got the mayor hopefully going to make it a political, like a day for him to promote him and bring the community together in Berwyn. And that's the plan, right? To get as many people out there as possible. Have a meatball contest. We're going to have a dunk tank. We're doing a lot of cool stuff that you don't normally see at 16 and softball tournaments. And I think that vibe is going to create some excitement. And I think it's also going to create some family atmosphere where, the kids, I know Denny, when we were on Flash, I mean, remember all the kids in Flash with Randy's kids and everyone's kids? Those kids are all playing now, but remember all them playing softball in the fields and Tyler's kids? And it was insane. Like,
I think one of the years at the bar, I think one of the photos we have at Archer, it might have been the 2015 national championship. I think we had 19 kids in our team photo. And it was just so cool. I mean, from that, it blossomed into we'd have to, no matter where nationals was at, the kids loved it because they were at a hotel. They didn't, for all they thought, they were in Disney World, but we started getting together over the holidays and we'd go to the William Tell on Joliet Road just to get hotel rooms so the kids could, such a organic friendship developed from it all. It's, it's really cool. And that's, we do need to bring that back, Jimmy. That's, we do. If I may continue on, forgive me if I cut you off, but, I know a lot of people forget when we started the SSA, I did do a one-day tournament at Wentworth Park. We tried doing some of that stuff to mix it up. And I do agree that we need to get away from this double elimination format. And to Angelo's point, especially at the 50 and over age tournament, but we do need to change it. And
right.
I think some of that pool play, one of my thoughts, and I don't know, I'm not trying to save it for the SSA or save it for the Hall of Fame or save it for Jimmy. If somebody can take this idea and run with it, I would start the pool play during the league.
Yeah.
I mean, the league play is garbage now, right? I mean, nobody cares. Nobody comes out. Nobody wants to participate in league games.
Yeah.
And if we started saying, hey, your pool play for the North-South tournament, you guys play pool, pool A, 1 versus 4 is, or whoever versus whoever on Tuesday at Melrose. Then you play your second pool play game Thursday at Melrose, and now by the time you lead into then maybe, like you said, a Friday night pool play game. And now you play the single elim tournament on Saturday and you can bring everybody back. And this is what I've been saying for nationals.
Yep.
If we had four pools of 4, let's face it, there's 16 major national teams, major teams for nationals. You do 4, and the teams from the West Coast said they would come for pool play. They're not going to travel from Arizona and California to take a shot at going 0-2 based on a blind draw and who they draw into.
Right.
That's just too big of an expense and too much of a time commitment. But if you're guaranteed at least 3 games in your pool, and now you bring all 16 teams back on Sunday, and even the bottom 4 finishers of each pool are playing for their money back, you still have all 16 teams out there on Sunday of Labor Day weekend, and everybody's playing for something.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, it's a great point. So this is the part of the show right now where we ask you guys, is there any questions you guys have for both Donnie and I? We'll start with you first, Angelo.
I tried to think about this on my way home from Springfield, and I guess my main question for you two guys, because you seem to be all about softball, the game, and not about organizations and politics.
Right.
What's your objective? Because Jimmy, you said you may be out of the game soon, and Donnie, you're fresh, so
I don't know if I'll ever be out of the game, to your point, but I definitely won't be full time like I am now, where run a business, full time job, and don't necessarily make 98% of the game. So, but go ahead, Donnie, you start.
I think the current objective for this is to essentially just give somebody a platform to talk about the game and their memories of it, and, like you both did, told stories about it and, said what's important and where the game is headed. So it's great to hear from different opinions and different human beings that have been around the game for a long time and kind of where they want to see the game go. And we're always open to hearing more ideas about kind of where the game is at right now and where it can improve. Because, there's ideas in the future to start a players association. This stuff is taken into consideration essentially, right? Hey, that was a great idea that Denny brought on the show, right? Angelo talked about this. That's the stuff that we'll reference. I mean, just having more opinions on the game and then being able to, it's honestly just do it for fun as well. I mean, selfishly, I love talking about softball. I talk about it all the time. So for me to be able to talk with guys like you, who I don't usually get to talk to, that's big for me too. So, yeah. And then, just being able to play a lot and then talk about teams and players, current guys, people that I've seen and, guys that are my age that I can talk to about softball. That's the goal, right? Just to kind of keep the game growing in a certain direction through being able to kind of express your opinion on the show.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of piggyback off Donnie, my objective really is to continue the game, with this platform that we have now with the show that we've built. We didn't build it ourselves. The players helped us build it. And we always say that because we honestly believe that. And we allow, and I think our biggest thing was allow the voices of the players to be heard, where I feel like a lot of times that those voices haven't been heard in the last several years or longer, right? I know Denny said, they started the SSA 15 years ago for the same reasons. Well, in the last several years, I've noticed, where maybe certain things have been brought and it's not, per se their idea, so we don't look at it, right? So Donnie and I really think that we just do it to Donnie's point because we love the game. I really do. Like, I enjoy talking with Donnie. We kind of throw some things in there like hot dog reviews, and we try to do other random little things, right? That's all, if you really think about it, it's all around softball. Okay. Donnie and I hop in a car, drive 4.5 hours to go to Marshalltown, Iowa, to do a Hall of Fame dinner with those guys. Not because we were paid, not because we went out there because we were going to, number one, have fun. Number two, we thought, hey, let's bring some notice around, Iowa, which has now become a big part of, let's be real. They're becoming a bigger part of softball. And I feel a lot of the Iowa guys have that same drive, Angelo, that I wish some of the Chicago guys had. Those guys in Iowa want to play softball. And you could tell the difference. They don't have the leagues like we do. Okay. Their leagues are, they're spread out 5 hours apart. So when those guys get together, they want to play softball and it shows. And I feel over the last 5 years, they're continuing to get better, both without the glove and of course, well, they play all the time with the glove. But from what I'm hearing now, a little bit of rumor is Chuck's next year is going to play every single Chicago tournament in Chicago next year. So if that does happen, I mean, that's a huge step for, just for the major game here, with them coming in 5-6 weekends of the year. So, that's kind of what I feel. I think, and that's a great question. I think it's one of the better questions we've had on the show. So thank you. But go ahead, Denny. That's a tough one to follow up.
Yeah, I forfeit. Mic drop. I don't have nothing.
That's fair.
No, I would like to I really don't. I tried thinking earlier of questions for you, and it's hard. I mean, because Jimmy, me and you spend a lot of time talking softball, and so I know where both of your guys' hearts are. I know what the intentions are, and and I know, Jimmy, you're busy with your family and everything you got juggling. But I did say, and I will just make myself available if I can help in any way. Answer some questions of Pat's. We traveled when we started the SS, what we started as like the players union or players committee, and where we went from there. Some of the truths we unveiled, some of the things that were unknown that I think in a lot of people's eyes and minds are still unknown. So there are some things that, if I can be of any help, because I think that your guys' passion, like Angelo, like you guys said, and Angelo, I think it's pure and it's organic. And, you know what, basically what you guys are doing is what is going on in taverns right now amongst softball players who just got done playing a fall ball game somewhere. You know, we all congregate after wherever we played and talk softball.
Great point.
I used to say, like lambs to the slaughter. You know, we'd go play in a qualifier. You paid, you know, $200 to get in. There were 30 something teams. The winner got $300. We said, these thieves, where's all the money going? And then the next week you were right back there doing it again, you know? So we were like crack addicts, you know, we'd go to the bar and bitch about them all, but we were right back there doing it again the next week. And, but yeah, so it's, you know, where you guys are, this is a platform that is able to bring everybody sitting in a different bar doing what they're doing. Now we're all doing it together. And I think that's cool how you guys are able to kind of centralize that.
Great point. It really is. You're absolutely right. Thank you for bringing that up. I mean, that's how this show started, was guys talking about softball in a bar around two teams that just got into a full altercation on the field between Iron and Hex. We went to the bar and we were like, oh shit, they're there. Like, Al Rice is going to punch me in my face, right? He didn't. We talked about softball for an hour on video.
Yeah.
It was totally, you know, it was great. Yeah. And that's what sparked this. So,
right.
Yeah, that's a great point.
If I can parlay that, Donnie, and that's a story that kind of captivates what we talked about way back when about the fraternal aspect to our game. You know, I very proud to have been accepted and a part of this fraternity, and I think we all as players hope we did something to help carry it forward. But you know, it's the respect amongst combatants. You know, and you know, Ange talked earlier about coming back to the 50 and over tournament. You know, Guaranteed Rate had the most impressive tournament out of anyone that weekend. We might have won it, but what they did was incredible. And, you know, as I spoke about watching, you know, Angelo get his 9 millionth hit and, you know, watching my teammates do things that, like going back in a time machine, that also transponds to the teams you're playing against, you know, watching Marty Dozen do his thing. I think he was 40 for 35 over the weekend and played a stellar third base. I mean, you know, and watching that, you know, it's the respect amongst combatants, amongst worthy combatants, you know, and watching some of the players that you're playing against is emotional too. You know, watching them succeed after all the years we've been battling, it's emotional too. And that's the fraternal aspect to our game that I think is unique and special. You know, it's whatever background you come from, between the lines, there seems to always have been a pretty strong mutual respect. And you don't see that everywhere anymore.
Yeah.
Great point.
So as we wrap up, is there anything else you guys would like to say before we, you know, kind of let you go? We're going to get into rumor mill.
I'm out of that conversation. Nobody's rumoring about where I'm going, so I don't get those calls anymore.
Well, guys, I tell you, it was a pleasure having both of you guys on the show tonight. I know Donnie and I were looking forward to this pretty much all day. I think Donnie, we probably talked on the phone 3 or 4 times today before the show, which, you know, normally is a one call thing, but no, we were like, oh wait, hold on, we forgot something. We got that. So it was great.
You were both wonderful, and thank you for being so open and, you know, talking about everything. And we, you know, that people are gonna come up to you and say, "Hey, you guys did great on the Uncle Jimmy Cousin Donnie show," and take that in stride. I know that this is a huge moment. So, yeah,
those are the things I live for. Yes.
We appreciate you guys having us. We appreciate
it. Donnie, I appreciate you too as well, guys. Thank you so much.
Hey, well, if I may say, Ange, did you hear what Jimmy said too, by the way, about that Friday night in Berwyn? Now they're going to screw our March Friday nights over again one more time. Just had to make sure that got out there.
Deal with Fritz and Ray for that.
That's right. Oh, I appreciate it.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much for what you do and having me on.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.
I'll tell you, man. Yeah, it's great. Isn't it awesome hearing some of the old stories and just kind of the way the game was? I really do hope that some of the players of today's game take that into consideration of what they discussed and talked about, I think it matters, right? I mean, history matters, dude. So to me, I think it's only good for guys your age, Donnie, to hear those stories of what it
That
was.
there's so much passion in the game. You know, Angelo said he's been playing this game for 44 years.
Right.
That's unbelievable, right? I mean, shit, Jimmy, that's as long as you've been alive.
Yeah.
He's been playing softball.
Yeah.
And Angelo probably has 9 million hits. So it's easy for him to keep playing because that's all he does is get on base, and it's probably super fun. So what a great time talking with those two guys. I mean, truly, that was fun.
So, are you ready?
What do you got?
People have been, dude, blowing me up all week.
This is the most popular part of our show.
Blowing me up.
I will say, really quick, a lot of good feedback for Denny and Angelo as well. Billy Kavanaugh just said best show. So maybe this is the best show we've ever put together. And I mean, we've been doing this now for 2 years. And for that to be the best show is great. Anthony Raffaelli, great show. Had a great time playing this weekend with you two. Paul said he's been playing for 40 years. It's like, this is great, man. That was a great time chatting. Nick McLawhorn, my newest Instagram follower. Local competitive park ball is what the game is all about. I mean, that would be great. That would be great if the competitive local ball keeps it that way. David Davidson says, no one's been blowing you up, Jimmy.
So
who do you think David Davidson is?
I don't know. I don't really care. I've had 10
You think it's another Timmy K burner?
Probably. I've had 10 plus phone calls this week about Rumor Mill. 3 of them today.
Yes.
And I know you were on the phone with me for one, but
yes.
So let's just get into it, right? So we're gonna do a little bit different tonight, though, because sometimes we get in the Rumor Mill and we talk about it, and then all of a sudden we forget about, oh man, we forgot about that one, you know? So what I want to do tonight is I actually want to go team by team, and this will be pretty quick. So we're gonna start with Los Barachos. We're gonna start at the A level. We're gonna work our way up.
Steve-O's gonna be mad at me. I haven't talked to Steve-O. I'd like to hear kind of what his thoughts are on his offseason, who he's looking to pick up. I haven't heard anything from that team yet. I know a couple of guys maybe on the outs of Los Barachos, though.
Yep. And
we'll
so let's see on who is leaving Los Barachos.
I'm thinking Dom Jacoby. That's a name you might be familiar with. I don't know if you want to mention that for another team. We'll wait till we get to that other team.
Yeah. So who do you think they're going to be picking up? I heard Sean Quinn might be on the move.
Okay, so another team for Sean Quinn potentially.
Yep. So I hear Sean Quinn might be on the move as well. I could see him going to Moneyline.
Okay.
All right. Iron, next team on the list. So what have you heard about Iron, Donnie? Have you heard anything?
Iron's an interesting team because Danny Atkins stays super loyal to his crew and doesn't really outsource much. And if he does, it's for a really needed position. I know they were looking to bring another bat onto the team, though, trying to bring someone that can swing and EH and hit. So I don't know who they're picking up yet, per se, but I do know that that's kind of where they're focused this offseason.
Well, I heard that they were looking at getting Bino, possibly, but Bino obviously committed to Hex, which we'll talk about a little bit.
Yep.
I also heard of Julian Gutierrez, possibly. Okay. I've heard a couple other EHs, that they're looking to grab. I know that Drew Chaveria has been discussed. Potential there. That's just a complete rumor from what I heard. So a lot of guys on the mind for Iron. Iron's a team that I feel if they pick up a couple bats, I mean, they had some nice runs this year for sure.
Yep.
So, next team, 38s.
Yeah, interesting team here. Have heard a few things like Chuck Regalado going to 38s.
Yeah.
And then Eric Mandarino heading over to 38. So that's 2 major pickups for them to make them stronger.
Yep. That's exactly who I heard as well. Chucky possibly going there. along with Eric Mandarino possibly going there. So,
Yep.
obviously, Chucky a part of my team this year, right? So that's going to be a phone call that I've actually already made, but I don't know. I didn't really get into, what his plans were. So it was more about seeing what he's doing because he actually bought popcorn for my son. So I'm gonna have to go meet him in the city. So
Sure.
next team I've got on the list is Whale.
Man.
What have you heard? What have you heard,
How about-
Donnie, from Whale?
How about the offseason for Whale so far? Picking up, going out and sourcing Mr. Lenny Gonzalo from Moneyline and Frank Jekyll from Moneyline. 2 huge pickups. Lenny's an unbelievable hitter. And then adding Jack Harrigan as well this week from March.
Yeah. So Jack going there, I think, is to me is a big pickup, right?
Yeah, he's a nice player.
I think he's obviously going to make them better, of course, right?
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. I also heard another name possibly with the Whale boys, and that's Anthony Stacy.
Okay.
I heard his name kicked around.
I've heard Stacy kicked around a couple teams this offseason. So
he's on my list about 3 or 4 times today.
yeah, me too.
So,
who's next? That's going to be a really good team next year.
Whale, yeah. I if they gel, as you know,
yeah,
I think they will. I could see them making some noise.
Yep.
So moving on to Circus, I have Circus as the next team on my list. I've heard numerous things. I heard no more Timmy next year. Timmy will be coming around in July. I heard no more Duff. I heard Dag's is going to be 50%, and then I heard Iggy and Vito possibly going there. So I guess they lose guys with no commitment, and they pick up guys with no commitment. So
Iggy's committed. I know that Iggy's 100% in. Vito, I know, is a little shaky because of his job.
Yep. So that could be an option. I'm sure Circus is going to have to pick up another player or 2 on top of those guys as well. With losing, if it is true that Duff and Timmy are going to be mostly done, the Timmy thing, he's full of shit. He's going to be. He'll play. So I do know though that his schedule with Eli is tough. So he wasn't around too much this year, but he kind of was around too, right? He'll make time. He'll be there. I agree. Future. Who do you got for Future?
How about this? Future, they're looking to make some moves. So it's official that Future is going major. So they need to pick up a couple guys and try to get stronger as a team because, they were in No Glove Nationals. It'll be interesting to see who they pick up going into this new season to try and compete. Guys, I also heard Anthony Stacy because his brother is on the team. So that would be a nice connection for him.
Yeah.
But to rally around that Joey Kutnick and that Future team, I know they lost their shortstop in Jeremy Doherty, did not commit for next year. So they're looking to pick up some guys for sure.
Next team on the list I have is March. So what I've heard for March, I heard that I've heard two things. I heard that they're still trying to keep it together, and then I've heard that they're completely done. And based on the names I heard leaving the squad, I don't see them. I can't see them having a team. But I have not spoke to Mr. Lentine. Chris Lentine did call me this afternoon, but I have not spoke to his brother or his father. So
Chris going to March?
To see what's going to happen, huh?
Is Chris going to March?
No, he's not. Not that I'm aware of. And
okay.
I was told that March was not going to have a team. I'm being told that Evans, Morris, and Jordan, along with
Dean and Detzner,
they're all looking for a team, as what I've been told. And also, I know Jake McTeague left.
Yeah.
We'll get to him in a minute. And I do know that the big kid, Nick
Burt.
Yep. And
McIlvain.
I heard that they're gone. Now I haven't confirmed with either one of them, but from what I've heard with pretty good sources, that they're leaving March and have already left and committed to another team, possibly. So,
Interesting.
yeah, so it should be, I would like to hear from them. But like I said, this is why we call it rumor mill, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is none of this stuff 100% confirmed. This is just kind of what we've been told or have heard from somebody on the team with the team. Until you see them in a jersey is when you believe that, right?
Right.
We could say whatever we want in here, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of team March has for next year. And I know it's a great group of guys in the Lentines, right? Tommy Senior, a great human being. So whoever they
Right.
pick up, we'll see about that team for sure.
Have you heard anything from the Pharaohs? I have not.
I have not heard anything. I know they had the Chris Rogers tournament this weekend, so the BTA High Y group won that. So nothing out of the Pharaohs camp or BTA yet, or High Y, honestly, in those teams. The only thing I do have is maybe 45s related, which I want to get your opinion on.
Yeah, I know where you're going with that. I have not heard anything. I've heard possibly Wes Shannon to Signature. I have heard that.
Sign me up. Sign me up for
So-
that. We have not made any decisions yet on that. We haven't seen any new faces in the group chat yet, I should say.
Right.
So sign me up to get Wes, though. He's unreal. He would help us. I mean, he's awesome.
Yeah. So here's a team that I think everyone in softball it's like the newest fun team. What everyone keeps saying is Impact.
Gym packed, some may say.
Huh?
Gym packed.
Yeah, it's Impact. I heard I'm going to Impact. I've heard Julian. I've heard Anthony. I've heard Iggy. I've heard every guy in softball is going to play for Impact this year.
Gym packed.
Impact.
I heard Julian is official. Julian Gutierrez heading to Impact is official. And then they're trying to get some of those March guys too. As Cody's pushing hard to have a really good team. And Tommy LeVar, great guy, sent me a video of himself shirtless, taking some golf swings. Swing looks like it's in a good spot. So good for Tommy LeVar. But that's a they should get better.
Yeah. Well, I think Impact took a big stride, and I think we said it on the show throughout the year, from what they were last year to what they were this year. They found younger guys, and I thought they were a lot better than what they were. And now I'm hearing that there's a lot more major players actually considering going to play for Tommy. So good for Tommy and good for that team. So money line. What do you got
Jim
for money?
Money line, picking up a couple of the Meatball City guys that and since we had a show last, Jimmy, Meatball City, Joel from Meatball City did post and say that their team is not going to be around next year. So Matty Dojan hopped on, potentially Jake Majerus and Jose Godinez for next year, is what I'm hearing.
So, I got possibly Drew. Could be a Drew Severia going back to money line. I could see we talked about Jake Majerus going there. I've also heard the Wiz brothers, if they wanted to play, that could be a possibility. I've heard, a lot of things that's going on with just a lot of the meatball guys, that structure going to Moneyline. So that could be a possibility. Like I said, it's a crazy world. I've also heard Moneyline trying to go after another big power hitter. So, and by a power hitter, take a guess who I mean, Donnie.
Moneyline going after a power hitter. You got to be referencing yourself.
No.
Who?
No. He plays on Signature.
A power hitter on Signature. Who is it?
Your boy Peck.
Oh, Pick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Your
Pick
boy.
had to do it. Okay, so they're trying to get Pick. All right, that's cool. I would hate that.
That's just a rumor, but
I would hate that.
Yeah.
Pick is my guy.
So possibility there. Anything else from our Moneyline squad?
Nothing from Moneyline. Nothing else from Moneyline.
So what about Fat Kids?
This team has got some movement. They did confirm they did get Pops. I heard that they are going after Anthony Stacy as well. And then Jake McTeague from March to Fat Kids.
I heard Jake McTeague has committed to Fat Kids. I
Okay.
don't know how true that is, but I believe that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that they're going to pick him up and put him at first base. Which
Okay. Well,
them that,
as long as they don't pick him up and throw him into a wall, they can save themselves $250 at the in Marshalltown, Iowa.
good point. He is a team jack-off mountain. So I'm actually happy with what I'm hearing about the Fat Kids. I think their moves are going to give them more hitters and defensively, the all but fake.
Playing catch with himself as we speak.
What happened? So what happened? So Mr. David Davison is our boy Timmy, probably, right? He's back out. No,
Timmy's got a different burner.
Yeah, he's always got a burner. But that being said, I think the Fat Kids are going to definitely be a much improved team. So,
Oh, Matt Dozen. Nothing against him, but don't start shit. Hey,
I'm not starting
This is
anything.
oh, it was $400.
Oh, it was. Yeah, you're right. The whole. Yeah. So that's what I had heard. I'm not saying it came from Maddie. I'm just saying in general. But next team on the line, Hex.
Hex picked up 3 H's this offseason, and Bino and Sean Burke. And actually, they picked up Steph McLaren, too, which is a nice pickup because he can play some different positions.
Yes, you're right. He could play right field and a little bit of infield, and I think that's something that team needs is more depth for sure. Let's see. Going on to signature. What do you got, Donnie? You look like you're puzzled.
Nothing. I've heard probably 200 guys mention going to signature this offseason.
I heard the Fat Kids shortstop. That you
Oh,
guys were
Macho?
happy-
Yeah, we talked about that 2 weeks ago. Nothing yet on that. I promise.
Yeah. Sal's being secretive.
He is. He's keeping things close to the belt. Yeah.
He's trying to replace cousin Donnie.
Do it. Let's do it. I'll go to Gym Pact.
Jim Pack. I guess so. That's what everyone keeps telling me. It's Gym Pact, right?
Yep.
Well, so I heard the shortstop from Fat Kids. I heard Wes Shannon to signature. Those are the only two names I've heard.
Love it. Let's sign him up. I don't have any.
Flash.
Man.
A lot going on there.
What's Flash look like next year?
I think we talked about this today on the phone. I don't know who we were on the phone with, but we talked about
Just
this,
me and
what
you.
their team would look like, right?
Yeah.
Ryan Russin left, the Coates kid in center, Despenza on right. Despenza's going to come back.
Yeah, he always plays.
I don't know.
We don't know who's
gonna
at third.
Because if Pish doesn't show up,
Yeah. Iggy, maybe.
Iggy at short, maybe. The other Coat brother at short center. PJ Raines probably at second, right? Or Mikey Meyer. I guess Shane at first. I mean, I don't know who they have for first other than Shane, right?
Yeah.
Moji's pitching. And then catcher EH. I mean, there's no Kearns. There's no Mans. There's no Julian. So
It'll be an interesting group next year for sure to see who rolls out for signature. Mr. William Chester said Tommy Lentine Jr. and Sr. headed to Impact. Or should I say Gym Pact. I love saying that. That's it.
Right.
That's all I got. I won't say that anymore.
So he
That's
said,
all
"I
got
heard
to.
signature rumor."
Oh, here we
Can I
go.
share-
Let's hear
William,
it. Let's hear it.
please. Let's hear the rumor.
Ooh, that'll be cool news too, as we kind of do this every week, hearing from Iowa, hearing what kind of movement we have in Iowa between some of the top teams that will then come to Chicago, and we can see those. Who's the next team?
Yep. 45s.
Okay, I saw a Facebook post from Brian Blackwell, Little B, wearing Tito's 45's gear in the photo. Speculation.
Well, I mean, I told you this earlier. I have not. I mean, I heard his name's been kicked around. I don't know if that's going to be a final thing or not. I have not seen anything in the group chat. I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I really don't. I've heard
Yeah.
Drew possibly coming to the 45s, maybe. He's another name, but I also heard him with Moneyline. I said I've also heard him with.
Drew.
So I don't know, who or what else we're looking for. My guess. Flash 2. I heard Izzy and Downs, the Flash. So I got to mention that. Right?
Because they're 50 and over shirts.
Yep, 50 and over. So
Fair.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. I mean, we've talked about it, but I feel the names we've talked about is pretty obvious.
Yeah,
So,
Matt Menizzi said Angelo, Alesia back to signature after MVP performance at 50 and over.
So
I'm in.
Yeah,
Sign him up.
yeah.
Sign him up.
Why not? Right?
Let's do it. What else
Why
you
not?
got?
Well, any Iowa rumors? So I know Chuck's. The problem is with Iowa, you got Chuck's Hall of Fame who never picks up anybody. They usually stay with the same guy, so they're not doing anything different. And then Los Lobos. I mean, are they going to come next year with more 12-inch guys and maybe play a more predominant role in the game? I don't know.
That's a good question.
To me, it seemed like those guys really enjoyed themselves at the A National this year. Which reminds me, it is a call that I have to make. I got to call back Ray and talk to him about the A National for next year. Our goal next year is to get the winner of the A National in the Forest Park, right?
Yeah.
So there's been a handful of years that hasn't happened. So that's another thing. So is there any teams, Donnie, that I missed or anything story-wise that I missed?
No, that's all I've got in my notes.
Yep. So it's been so far in the last week or two, I think things have slowed down a lot. There was a lot of excitement week 1. Last 2 weeks, things have slowed down a little bit. Had a lot of conversations with a lot of players in the game. So I'd be curious to see in the next couple of weeks if anyone does make a commitment.
Yeah.
What do
These
you
are some
laugh
good
at?
comments. They'll come but leave after Friday night is a funny comment.
Oh, about the
And,
Iowa Los
yeah,
Lobos?
yeah, that's funny.
Well,
That's good.
Did you ever see my post about them?
Yeah, you posted that they were there.
Yeah, I posted that they were there and no one told them they didn't make the tournament.
Jim-packed. That's great. Chris Harrison in the comments. That's it, though. That's all I got, everybody.
Our boy Chris Harrison. I wonder where Chris Harrison's going to play next year.
Great
What
question. What co-ed? He runs his own. He runs his own co-ed team.
I love, Chris Harrison. He's a good sport, though.
Yeah, agreed.
He is. Well,
that's
you know
all.
what? Really quick, Donnie, before we go tonight, how's my guy Beethoven doing?
Great. He just had his hip replaced, so he's been on bed rest under some heavy medication.
Okay,
So
that's
he's
why I
been
asked.
saying all.
I heard he had a surgery, so
Yes.
I'm glad he's doing well. That's a good thing.
Nick Casano said Chris Harrison will play in traffic.
Oh, traffic! I forgot to say, Will Russ committed to traffic.
Yes, our boy.
Yes. Will Russ.
Our boy William Russ is headed to the traffic. That's a big pickup for them.
His other brother.
That's great. I love that.
He'll get to play all the time.
Brendan. Yes.
Yeah.
Brendan Russ.
So good for him. But Donnie, I appreciate your time, my man. We have a lot to do over the next month or two. We have the Hall of Fame dinner, October 25th, that we have to talk about. We have the Players Union thing that we have to put together here, which I know I already have a list of stuff that we're going to go over. So a lot of cool things going on here over the next month before Christmas time. So, and then we're also going to have a Friday night tournament in the Dome in probably late November or possibly early December. So more to come on that as well. We're going to do a charity tournament like we did something similar to last year. So I think a lot of people loved the draft teams.
It was great. That was a fun night.
It was a really fun night. So we're going to get that back. Night. And we're going to get that going as well. So, Donnie, awesome show tonight, my man. Appreciate it. Thank you to our sponsors, Beacon Tab, Signature Transportation Group, Mom and Dad Water. We appreciate all you do. And any last words, Donnie, before we go?
No, sir. Fun show tonight. Thank you for hanging out. We're Staples committed to next year. Address Mark Robinson rumors. Some great comments as we head out. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you next show, which will probably be in about 2 weeks.
I'd like to see you guys eat a hot dog soon. We have to get out and do our hot dog review.
Yes.
We've got some videos we have to edit, but we also got to
Agreed.
get out to another one. So the next show I promise we'll have a hot dog review back. So thank you guys for the show tonight. We definitely appreciate it. Talk to you.